Hello everybody, welcome to another lecture of C programming. In the previous lecture we discussed all these things. For that you can watch the previous lecture, which will be linked in the description. Also there is the playlist that is available in the channel, so you can watch the first lecture in that video. So now starting to write the code and implementing a logic using the C programming. Now in this video we will find the sum, addition, subtraction, multiplication of two numbers. So first we will write a code to add two numbers. So adding two numbers, and we will input the numbers. The number will be inputted by the user here. So we will learn how we can input the numbers from the user in C programming through this video. So continue watching the video and you can make the notes alongside for better understanding. So as you know, we use include stdio.h header file in C programming. Then we start writing the code int main. So now we have to input, we will int I and j n. Let's not take n, let's take sum is equals to 0. This is how we take the variable, this is how we define the variable in C programming language, int I and j. So I, j and sum. Then we will print. In the previous lecture I told you how we print a statement. Must enter two numbers. Okay, then we will end it using the semicolon. Then for inputting two numbers, now this is the important part. If you need to input two numbers, we will have to scan those two numbers. Here I and j are the integers that the user will input, so we will have to scan these two numbers. So how we will scan these numbers? We will use scan f function to scan the numbers from user, and I and j are integer numbers. For integer number we use percentile d. I'm using percentile d twice because we are inputting two numbers from the user. The user will input two numbers, that is I, j. Here this is the address of I and j, where we will store the number that user will input in the address of I and address of j. So that's how we will, this is how is input done in C programming. This is how we input anything in C programming, okay, any integers. So now we just have to implement the logic of adding two numbers. So for addition of two numbers, we will just with I plus j. We'll assign sum is equals to I plus j, and we use a semicolon here. Then we'll print the sum that we have found. For print f, we will use percentile d sum. This is how we print anything in C programming language. Then return 0. This is how we write a C program. For adding two numbers, we've written the header file. Then int main curly bracket के अंदर आएगा body of the C programming. Here we have taken I, j to input two integers in C programming language. As I've written, I and j are integers here. And then sum, we have written to find the sum of two numbers. Sum is to find the addition of those two integers that the user will input. Then here we have enter two numbers. Scanning, for inputting two numbers, we'll have to scan those numbers. So percentile d, I and j. Address of I, address and j will store the in this address. The number that user will input will be stored in these two addresses, address of I and address of j. That's why we've used this symbol here. also. Then we have found the sum. The user have already input the two numbers. Then we'll find the sum. We'll assign sum is equals to I plus j, then a semicolon. Then the sum of these two integers will be stored in the variable sum. Now we'll print the sum. Sum is also the sum of two integers, will also be an integer number. So the sum is also a integer. So percentile d sum. So that's how we print in C programming language. So percentile d sum, it will print the value sum and return 0. Now we will dry run this code. Dry run this code. For dry run, we have here int I comma j. Will input two numbers. So suppose user is inputting 5, 6. Okay, 5 and 6. So I will have value 5 and j will have value 6. Then next line we have sum is equals to I plus j. So what will have, sum will have I plus j, that is 5 plus 6. So sum will have 5 plus 6, 11. Now here coming to this line, print percentile d sum. Then the output will be 11. 11 will be the output. This is how we write. And if you need to write it as this, sum is equals to this, if you want to print this whole statement, sum is equals to percentile d. So here instead of this we will have to write print f sum is equals to percentile d sum. So here percentile d will take the value of sum, so the output will be, for this statement the output will be sum is equals to 11, and for this statement the output will be just 11, because here just we are printing the value of sum. Here we are printing sum is equals to the value of sum, that is 11 for this case, for the value of I is equals to 5 and j is equals to 6. Now for subtraction, for multiplication or for division, obviously the same logic we will apply, just we'll have to replace these with the operator minus, with the operator minus, with the operator. For multiplication we use this, and for division we use this in C programming. And we also use modulus for a reminder. I'll make a separate video for discussing, where I'll discuss all the operators in C programming. If you want that video, comment down. I'll discuss all the operators in C in that video. Right now I'll just discuss the programming. In this in the coming videos I'll just discuss the logic that you can implement using C programming. So I hope you understood how I implemented the logic of adding two numbers. This is just the starting of C programming. These are just the basics that I'm going to start. Slowly we will go on to implementing higher logics, higher little difficult logics. And if you focus, if you make proper notes, and if you focus on the lecture properly, you'll easily implement those logics.